It is protest day for opposition and northern rebel supporters in the main southern city of Abidjan. These youth want President Laurent Gbagbo, who comes from the south, to leave office.
He says that Mr. Laurent Gbagbo is not our president, so he has to go. Since a long time, we haven't jobs in this country. We have a lot of poverty. We have a lot of problems. So we are very, very tired. And a big part of this population says that now is the end of his power.
Mr. Gbagbo's term in power has been extended 1 year to give extra time to disarm northern rebels and prepare a free and fair election, something Ivory Coast has never had. Opposition leaders have been barred from running in recent elections, while many northerners do not have the right to vote. A day of protesting is also a good way to unwind. These youth do not lack energy or good spirit, but they are frustrated. There are few jobs here for any of them, especially if they are not from the ethnic Bete group of President Gbagbo. Even for Mr. Gbagbo's supporters, though, the best prospects seem to be in political street fighting. Whenever the president feels his power is under threat, he uses this man wearing the cap, Charles Begoudet, to organize demonstrations. Earlier this year, the target was the United Nations, after an international working group recommended that Parliament be dissolved because it was blocking political reforms. So-called young patriots took to the streets for a week and attacked UN buildings. The United Nations says the damage to its buildings and equipment was in the millions of dollars and sent a bill to Mr. Gbagbo. The president's supporters also have their militias. Their leader is Touré Moussa Zegen, a former student activist who was unemployed after university. He now organizes militia training throughout Abidjan. Recruits are usually just out of high school with no prospects. When protests take place, human rights groups accuse them of going into neighborhoods where northerners and foreigners live to scare them and steal their belongings. But Zegen says their aim is to defend the South against rebels and help the army.
We are fighting as a Ivorian, as somebody who is conscious of what our country, what our continent is in. So what we are doing since our young years in school or at university is about to contribute to democracy in our country, to fairness, to justice.
When it is not protest day, the president's supporters also have daily political forums. They debate the future of Ivory Coast. They believe the rebels are backed by France. They say they are fighting for a second independence. One of the organizers explains it is important that young people get political exposure. He says young people must go through a political phase. The opposition has its own daily gatherings they call Grand. Tea is served and politics discussed. Political leaders amass huge fortunes compared to other citizens, especially when they get to hold government positions. National unity governments are popular here, so politicians from all sides get to be ministers. These leaders then build widespread followings, usually based on ethnic differences. Sometimes the rival groups face off. Here, a militia member was killed after being attacked by opposition supporters. This market vendor was killed when he refused to give money to a militia member. These face-offs also lead to physical destruction, and the infrastructure of poor neighborhoods deteriorates even further. Nothing is ever rebuilt or fixed. These are public buses. One of the jobs young northerners can aspire to is to drive one of these buses, but militia members have destroyed many of them. It seems that with violent politics and little else, the youth of Ivory Coast are going nowhere and breaking up any hopes of a better future. Nico Columbus, VOA News, Abidjan.